Well, you found us. I'm so glad you did, but I am sorry that you had to. Who are we? I'll tell you what we're not. We're not old, we're not boring, and we're not giving up. So come on into our Widow Circle where trauma meets humor, and we remind you that you can not only survive, but thrive. This is Every Widow Thing. Today, we are going to introduce ourselves. Right on, right on. Do you remember that cheerleading? Anyway, no? Anyone?
No.
Just me. Anyway, we're going to introduce ourselves so you get a little bit of background on who these four badass widows are. And I'm going to go first. My name is Whitney. My husband's name is Hunter. And we were together for 28 years, married for 23. And we met in the summer before our sophomore year at the University of Texas. We were 19 and extremely smart to meet each other and stay together, although I did have to work very hard for him. Anyway, that's for another day. After college, we got married and we moved all over. We had an amazing life. We lived in Texas. We went to Kansas. We went overseas to London. We lived in Connecticut. And then we settled in Los Angeles for about 15 years until the summer of 2017 when we decided to come back to our roots because LA was getting a little crazy and our kids weren't grounded enough, you know? So we wanted to get back to Texas. Austin was really the only location we were interested in staying. So we packed up and moved out of Beverly Hills and back to the Texas Hills. Unfortunately, 3 months later, my husband died unexpectedly. I remember thinking, this can't be happening. We have so many plans. Like, we've got so many plans. And yeah, it was very traumatic, obviously. I didn't have anyone here. I didn't know anyone. We literally moved in the summer, and right after school started for the kids, he died. We do have 3 kids. At that time, my daughter was starting her freshman year in high school, and my boys were going into middle school, 6th and 7th grade. So the ages were about 15, 12, and 11. So yeah, I had to start all over. The hardest thing for me was that because I didn't have any of my friend group here, and I'm meeting people for the first time, no one knew me as a couple, you know? I was just Whitney. There was no Whitney and Hunter, and I really struggled with that. And the way that I coped with my trauma and the grief in that first year was I dove headfirst into a ton of self-help books, mostly about the soul and the afterlife, because that's really what I was trying to figure out. And I had a belief, but I was like, but where is he really? And I got a lot of peace from that. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was find my group, find other people that were going through a similar trauma. And I said this before, I want to know what it looks like and find the women that seem to be thriving, you know, in spite of what's happening to them. And that's how I found you guys. And that's now why we're here. So that gives you a little bit of info on me. And we're going to pass it on to the next widow, Keira.
Hi, my name's Keira. My husband's name is Frank. We met in Washington, D.C. We both grew up in the D.C. area, went away to college, ended up back in that area and met through mutual friends at a party.
Was it love at first sight?
I think it was for him. I was dating someone else, so I wasn't really on the lookout for him.
How old were you?
So I was 26 and he was 30. We were a little older. We had a lot in common. We had both majored in English. We just kind of hit it off, but we're just kind of friends at first. But ultimately, we did start dating because we just kind of
couldn't. You would not give up.
We just kind of connected and just couldn't fight it. So about 6 months after we met, we moved to New York City together.
Oh, wow.
And moved to the Upper West Side. We were both working in publishing. We also moved around a lot. We moved to Toronto for a couple years. I had a baby there, my daughter Aislinn. Then we moved back to New York. Then when I had my second child, my son Thomas, we moved out to the suburbs of New York to Montclair, New Jersey. We were there for about 5 years. I had a third child there, Keira, in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And then Frank had a company here in Austin that was recruiting him. It was an education startup. And I had never been to Texas in my life. Just
Oh, really?
not one, not even.
You fit in so well.
Not even an,
Did you bring your cowboy hat? People think
Not
that's
even an
what
airport
Texas is.
stopover. I just.
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
know.
crazy.
I had no idea what to make of it. But I was pretty adventurous back then. And he sent me.
I think you're still adventurous. Let me just.
He sent me here to visit. We did a little house hunting. We moved in August of 2010, right as my youngest was turning 1. My son was entering kindergarten and Aislinn was in 2nd grade. We actually made a lot of friends really quickly. I think having kids those ages, I think living in Tarrytown, which is kind of central Austin, we made some really good friends. We were having a great time. Life was good. About 4 years in, we had a car accident and Frank passed away. So that was pretty sudden and traumatic. And I didn't have any family out here at all. The friends really came into play in that moment, and I'll always be grateful for that. People really rallied around my family. The older 2 kids were at camp, and they weren't in the car, but my youngest and I were injured, severely injured. So Keira and I were in separate hospitals. Frank had passed, and family and friends just kind of rallied. And for a long time, it was pretty terrible.
We're going to go into detail on
Foggy.
everybody's stories, but just out of curiosity, how long were you in the hospital and how long was Keira in the hospital?
I think Keira was in for about a month.
Wow.
So I was 42. I was 42, and Keira was almost 5, and then Thomas and Aislinn were at sleepaway camp 11 and 9 years, and they had been there for a couple weeks. We were on our way to get them, and we were hit by a drunk driver. Yeah, so I was in the hospital probably 7 weeks, and then I was in a hospital setup at the house for a while also because I couldn't walk, and I had all kinds of wheelchairs and equipment
Yeah.
and
Tell
things like
people
that.
how many surgeries you had to have.
I had many, many surgeries. I kind of lost count, but probably like 20-ish.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I think that's
didn't know
important
that.
to know.
Anyway, we'll get more into that later, but that was a really tough year of just my grief. My grief journey started a little bit later because
Yeah, in the hospital.
I was really
You were
fighting
just
for
trying
my
to
life
stay-
and really
yeah.
trying to I just wanted to get well and back to my kids. And my parents lived with me for a year. They came from Virginia.
But
They
that
were
was
amazing.
interesting.
They were amazing. They were traumatized too. I mean, it was just hard for everyone. But so that's my story. Oh, and then, like I said, I had amazing friends, but I didn't have friends that had obviously been through what I had been through. And so when Lacey reached out to me for the first time, that was amazing. And then I met Holly, and then I met Whitney, and here
We
we
should
are.
probably make
We
it
are.
clear I did not know you. We had mutual friends, and I sent you an email.
That's correct. Yeah, we didn't
None of us knew each other
know each
before.
other. Yeah.
Nope.
But that was such a lifeline. And that was sort of the beginning of coming to this moment in time where
Yeah, we want to be a lifeline for other people because
That's
the
purpose of
so
being here.
many people do not have a group. They couldn't find one, or
Or
you
they
know,
go
they
to
didn't
grief
click.
groups and they don't click.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So,
exactly. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for you guys. And I'm so happy that we're doing this.
I think it's important to note that most of us don't know each other's stories in depth.
Right.
So
It's
this
gonna
is
be
the first time I'm hearing a lot of the details
Mhm.
because we don't usually discuss that kind of thing. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to talk about.
All right, Holly, you're up.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is out of my comfort zone, so here we go.
I know.
Okay. I'm Holly. My husband's Toby. We met at Texas Tech when I was 19, like Whitney and Hunter.
Yes.
We were babies. Toby was a few years older than me. It was pretty much love at first sight.
At a party?
At a bar. But we were both in graphic design. So we saw each other in the design building. And then he kind of started chasing me. And anyway. And then
It's so fun to be chased.
he graduated before me and moved out to San Francisco, which was his dream. And then, of course, I followed him out there. I lived in San Francisco with some girls, and he lived with some guys. And a few years later, we got married. I'll back up and say we were together 28 years, married for 22. And we lived in California for 15 years. Had my oldest son, Gabe. And then when he was 3, I was pregnant with Zach. And 8 months pregnant, we moved to Austin.
Oh, my
Wow.
gosh.
What time of year?
In the summertime.
Ooh, hot and pregnant. That's not easy.
We
August,
moved in August, and
Yeah.
it was
We did
brutal.
too, but I was not
Brutal.
pregnant.
Well, Zach was born in September. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Actually, we moved in September 11th, and he was born September 24th. Let's see.
So you moved to Austin and you had your youngest.
Yeah.
And then fast forward.
Fast forward, happy, living our best life.
And honestly, we've talked a little bit, Holly and I, about her relationship with Toby. And he was like the perfect partner.
Yeah, he was. Well, every holiday, I would get some amazing collage, heartfelt, that he made. And I'd be like, shit, I got to make something good for him for his birthday or Christmas or what.
Let me run to Randall's for a gift.
Right. Here's the card.
No, there was none of that. I mean,
Well, I asked, I was like, when you're married for that long, there's typically some resentments or whatever. And I was like, she would always talk about him. And I go, okay, well, hold up. Wasn't there some resentment like where you're just like, unloads the dishwasher wrong or whatever? And you were like, they're really, not really. So,
well, there's your typical couple.
right. But there was still a lot of,
we were really good about date nights and couples, the two of us traveling together. We were really good about that, which you have to work at.
Yeah, you do.
To make it happen. Anyway, he was driving Zach and 3 friends home from baseball practice, and they were hit by a drunk driver. All the other boys survived. They're all fine now. And Zach was 11 and Gabe was 14. He was his freshman year in high school. And Zach was in 5th grade. I think the way I got through it was being with my friends. And Zach too. And
well, and share. So Toby died instantly, but Zach had to go.
Zach was in the hospital for a week. Had surgery on his spine. We broke his arm. He had a lot of injuries. And so he was surrounded by friends and family also. And I just focused on him and Gabe. And that was my, just like,
saving grace.
This is all I'm going to focus on.
Holly and I have this weird crossover where our accidents were on the same road.
Right.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't know
That's
that till the other day.
So both drunk drivers and on the same highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a
Steer
bunch of
clear of
people
that
reached out
highway.
to me. A bunch of people reached out to me when Toby's accident happened. And again, I didn't know Holly. Our boys had kind of maybe crossed paths in baseball a little bit. But
I remember Zach seeing Thomas at a friend's house right after the accident. And I followed you because our kids were at the same elementary school.
Yeah.
But we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
I knew the story. And I followed on the Karen Bridge.
Yeah.
And I would talk to Toby about it and be like, oh my God, I can't imagine. And
Isn't that interesting?
There's just this weird connection between us and all of us, really. And if you look for it, it's there. But yeah.
I was happy you connect. Well, I met Lacey like a week after Toby died. And I don't really remember our conversation.
We had a
but
mutual person that we knew. She
Yeah.
called me to come visit
Yeah.
you.
I know I was grateful you were there, but I don't
Lacey
know
was
what
like
I
the
said.
resident
I
widow.
know.
That everybody was like, "There's a widow. Call Lacey."
Thank God.
It also just says a lot about our community. I mean, the community we're in,
Mhm.
which was really there for me, and then the way they connected all of us through, unfortunately, this tragedy. But that's kind of special. I think that makes this area kind of special and the community that we're all in.
Yeah, my parents, I remember at the hospital, which the hospital gave us an extra room for all of our friends and family to hang out in. There were so many people.
Oh, wow.
And I remember my parents coming up to me and they were like, wow, you have a lot of special friends. We had no idea.
Yeah. I remember my East Coast friends that came in couldn't get over how many Austin friends we had made in such a short
Right.
time. They were just amazed at the community and the outpouring of support. And that was kind of cool.
And I was, it's interesting because Toby was different. Like most guys don't like connect with their friends on their own. Like,
Yeah.
Men, like he
Men.
connected with, like kept in touch with his group from high school and college. And now they all live in Austin. And slowly, and they all followed him to California too.
Oh, that's funny. He was the leader,
Like a
leader of
cult.
the pack.
I know.
Charismatic.
The cult
I
of
guess.
Toby.
But I'm so grateful they're here now because,
It means something to have people that knew him for such a long period of time and have the memories and then can see in your kids.
The evolution.
Yeah, I find that really helpful too. Hunter was the same, had the friend group for a very long time. And I love that they'll be like, oh my gosh, that was so Hunter right there,
Yeah.
And then they can tell stories of like,
And I imagine you
Their dad in high
appreciate it
school.
when people don't not talk about them. It helps me when someone brings them
Oh,
up. I love that.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And share
Yes,
stories.
Of course. You
Let's talk about
yes,
Oliver.
let's share your story,
Let's
Lacey.
talk about Lacey and Oliver.
It's funny, we were talking about this in our planning meeting, and I thought there's only certain things I want to say and don't say because they're not easy to
Personal.
talk about, as I'm sure it's for you guys. I moved here from Los Angeles. I lived there for 10 years. I'm originally from Mississippi, thus the southern accent that you're hearing. My husband is from Hamburg, Germany. His name is Oliver. And he was working for Vignette Germany, and I was working for Vignette Austin. We still laugh how I got into tech. I don't know because I knew nothing about it. I was in the film industry in Los Angeles for all those years. And we literally met in the elevator. So that was our song at our wedding was Love in the Elevator.
Oh, that is
cute.
And all he did was just say hello. So it is true he had me at hello. But I will say this. I thought he was going to be my boy toy, not my husband.
right.
So I just thought he looked good.
Well, he was both then.
Yeah, he was both. Anyway, we met on the elevator. We ended up, he came up to me that night. I was giving a presentation to the Western region. And so we started seeing each other. And we got married in 8 months. I know.
So
yeah,
it
was very
wasn't love
fast.
at first sight in the elevator. It was lust at first sight.
Totally.
But then when did it switch? Because you got married 8 months later.
And my parents, funny enough, who've been married 65 years, they got engaged in 3 months too.
Oh, wow.
So we did too, which was
And I
interesting.
understood it.
His dad wasn't super excited about it because he didn't know me. So we ended up, everything had to be like really quickly done. I had to go meet the family. He had to meet mine. And anyway, so we were married exactly 10 years when he died of group A strep toxic shock. He was misdiagnosed with a stomach virus and a pull muscle in his back and went into a coma and died that day. So it was all quick. And we had, our son was 6 years old at the time, and he was in first grade. And I'm trying to think what else.
Ryder is your son.
Yeah, he's my only son.
He's an amazing kid.
Yeah, I was older when I had him. I'd had a long career before I ever had him. So, and he's 18 now, and he's a senior in high school, and he's the reason that got me through all of this. But I have to back up and say we were all talking about our careers. I had literally just gotten into an agreement with a production company for my television show that I created. So we were casting on a Saturday, and my husband died the Wednesday prior. So I tell people all the time, my career blew up, my family blew up, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So having Ryder literally was the thing that kept me going every day. So I'm grateful for that. I never looked at it as like, oh God, it was hard. And I'm sure you guys can attest to that, how hard it is to raise kids by yourself. And I have the one, but it's tough.
I find he looks a lot like his dad.
Oh my gosh.
And he has a lot of the mannerisms. And you and I have talked about this because I saved, look, I still have all my husband's clothes in the closet.
But I'm in the attic. So.
But I try to I moved from one house to another and put his clothes in the new house's closet.
That's all right.
But everybody handles things their own way. But he was wearing his dad's jacket.
No, his
so
whole
crazy.
suit.
His whole suit.
He had his senior their homecoming or whatever dance it was. Winter formal was what it was. And he needed a black suit. And so I thought, I'll just go up in the attic and rifle through what Oliver had. And because he was in Hamburg, Oliver was kind of a nerd. He was a tech exec. Fortunately, he had a girlfriend in his past that helped him learn how to dress. Oh my gosh, yes.
But
all
I feel
the
like
beautiful
Germany,
clothes,
I feel like he would be very stylish, German stylish.
He was very good looking.
Yeah.
But we dug around in there and found this beautiful Italian suit and beautiful tie. And when Ryder put it on, it fit him like a glove. I didn't have to alter anything.
I've got chills.
Amazing.
So, and he loved wearing it. I said, do you feel weird? Is this weird? And he said, no, I love it. I could tell that he felt good about himself. But he does look eerily similar. So, and he has a lot of the same, I don't know if you guys are finding this with your kids. He has some of the same mannerisms. And sadly, he doesn't remember his father super well. I mean, he was only 6. He remembers some of the things they did, but the nuances of the relationship he doesn't remember. But he does some of the things that Oliver did that I thought, that is so strange. Like, that's how I know it's nature and nurture. It's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That gives me comfort.
Well, now you're getting to know a little bit about each of us. You're going to learn a lot more. But before we go, I thought it might be fun to do a little lightning round of rapid fire questions just to get a little bit more insight into each of our personalities. So, Holly, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Which means everyone else has an advantage because they're going to hear these questions. But I'm going to start with you
that
first.
could be different questions.
I don't have time for that. Unless I
my
only give you
question?
like 5 questions or something. All right, first, texting or talking on the phone?
I don't know.
Lightning.
It depends on the person.
What do you prefer? More
Wait, what is
Depends.
texting or talking? More than not. Boom.
Texting.
Okay. Hot or mild?
Mild.
Okay. Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
What's something people don't know about you or
Ooh,
get wrong
this
about
sounds
you?
good.
I need more than.
So let me ask you this. What's a hidden talent that you have?
Are we miming?
What did that
I was
mean?
just miming. I was trying to help her. I'm trying to tell you what your hidden talent is.
She's like, pass.
All right, I'll go to the next one. Last song you listened to on purpose?
Harry Styles.
Mhm.
Which one was on in the car?
All of them. So
Over
good.
and over.
How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
45 minutes.
Intro-
Depends on where I'm going.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Okay. All right.
Did you
You're
tell?
done. Good job. Yeah.
You have to say, are you getting ready to go work out or go
Detail oriented or don't care about details? Go.
detail?
Yes. Yeah.
She is a designer.
Yeah,
Details
she's
for sure.
a
Yeah.
designer and she is an organizer. She had a closet organizing or home organizing business.
Well, wait, we can talk about that when
Yeah.
we talk about where our husband's clothes are.
Oh,
Mhm.
right. Oh, interesting. Okay, Lacey. I'll try to switch it up a tad
Yeah, I was
so that you're not cake or pie. Cake or pie.
cake.
Sand or snow.
Oh, sand for sure.
Hers
I'm
are
a surfer.
easier.
I'm a surfer.
Favorite day of the week.
Saturday.
What's something people don't know about you or a hidden talent that you have?
I don't know.
Pass.
Pass. Are you a great karaoke singer or something? Or like, can you tie a
Absolutely
cherry
not.
stem in your mouth?
Absolutely
Do the
not.
splits? Look
I can
up
do the
people
splits.
online?
I can country western dance now.
And that's true. I
It's
saw
all
it.
I'm trying to think.
All
Probably
right.
I'm a hip hop dancer, and everybody would laugh at my age that I'm doing that. But
All
I
right.
love it.
Lacey, extrovert or introvert?
Ambivert.
Ambivert, which is both.
Yeah.
I draw
see
my
that.
energy from being alone, but I'm outgoing. But
Ooh.
I need a lot of alone time, as all of you know.
Yes.
We'll go out, and everybody else will go out in addition to the restaurant, and then I go home.
Lacey's good at putting up boundaries. She's like, no, I've already had 2 glasses of wine. I'm good. And it's time for me to go home. Where the rest of us are like wishing we did that
Where are we
the
going
next day.
I know.
Right.
But part of that is survival, too.
Yeah. Hot or mild?
Mild.
And favorite holiday? None of them.
Probably changed. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I planned my husband's funeral on my birthday, so that one's no longer fun. Let me
no.
think. I don't
we're
know.
going to change that.
Probably New Year's, because my son was born on New Year's Day.
Aw. Okay,
Love it.
great. All right, Keira.
Okay.
Texting or talking?
I'm definitely a texter, but
And barely.
I'm told I
Instinct
text
like
like
me.
a guy.
She does.
Oh, hilarious.
Even
Just
when I
one
was
word.
dating, I was told that. But I really like just in-person interactions. I'm not a big phone person. I would say text, like crucial information, and then let's get together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot or mild?
Hot.
Favorite day of the week?
Thursday.
Last song you listened to on purpose?
Probably Lord Huron, something the night we met or
Oh, nice. How long does it take you to get ready?
not long. Today I put makeup on, which is unusual for me, but not long at all.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Ooh, I think I'm a good driver. I think I'm an 8.
All right, dawn or dusk?
Dawn or dusk? Oh, probably dusk.
Sand or snow?
Sand.
Favorite holiday?
I mean, I'm with everyone here. Holidays used to be amazing, and then you lose your husband, and suddenly really, really hard. I would say that it was Christmas. First few Christmases were really tough, but now that my kids are older, we usually travel. We usually open gifts and then take a trip. I'm more about an experience for the kids than the gifts. So I would say Christmas again, because we've made it super fun and we've made new traditions.
Yeah. Extrovert or introvert?
I was always borderline on the Myers-Briggs, but people probably think I'm extroverted. But like Lacey, I kind of need a lot of time to regroup.
All right, great.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of it.
All right, I'm going to pass. I'm going to
Zero.
pass the questions to Holly, and then you pick a couple for me.
Okay.
Although I've seen them all.
We might just have to make some
You can
up.
make some up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, texting or talking.
I used to be talking, but then now I've become lazy and I don't even want to answer the phone. Texting.
Favorite day of the week.
Wednesday. Hump day.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just because I like to say hump day.
Favorite food.
Ooh, Mexican food. Any kind.
Um,
All the time.
ask permission or beg forgiveness.
Beg forgiveness.
That's a good one. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals? I would talk to my dog, Pearl, ask her why she won't
is she
stop barking.
I would like to speak every language in the world. I'm a communicator.
You
They
wanna
don't care
talk to
that you're
Wembley?
trying. I feel like Wembley tells me what he needs me to know. Wembley's my bulldog. He's a grumpy old man. All right. Well, as always, we are here for you. We've got an Instagram account, Every Widow Thing. You can go over there and check us out. Follow us for content and other helpful tips and stuff for just everyday shit that we're going through, because that doesn't stop just because your husband's dead.
Thank you.
Bye.